Hello everybody, I'm Mitchell Halleck, and welcome to another episode of Authors on the Hot Seat. Tonight, we have that new star on the literary horizon, author of this book, Ramblings of an Agonized Aardvark, Mr. Karl J. Anderson. Karl, I'd like to thank you for joining me.
Hey, it's okay, Steve. It's okay. Thank you.
All right, first off, Karl, let me just say, I haven't read your book. But from what I've heard, it's nothing more than a trashy diary of an ill-mannered, disgusting, vile drunk like yourself, and you probably think you're a hero to the many people out there. Well, let me just tell you, Karl, we're here tonight to degrade and show people the real fool you really are.
That's your opinion.
No, Karl, it is not my opinion. It is opinion shared by every literary critic across this great land of ours. In fact, the opinion of you as an ill-tempered, foul-mouthed, deprived, and parts of Mexico.
Did I introduce you to my lawyer, Mr. Joey Tataglia?
Hello. Hello. Hi. Karl, let me just start with some tidbits of the sordid life you have led. And I'm sure the audience would love to hear about it.
This is my lawyer, Mr. Joey Tataglia.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Mitchell?
Thank you. Now, apparently, you were orphaned by gypsies, abandoned by them, raised by wolves in the Badlands of Wyoming. Can you tell us some more about this lustrous life you've shared?
Well,
Mr. Anderson doesn't remember anything about his childhood.
Now, how would you know it's his childhood?
Mr. Anderson does not remember or recall or know anything about his childhood.
Is that true, Karl?
Mr. Anderson does not remember.
I don't remember anything about my childhood.
No offense, Mr. Wilson, but I think you are leading this man's opinion. In fact, I think you're influencing his answers.
I'm not under the influence. Don't ever say I'm under the influence.
That's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. I didn't mean to say he was under the influence. What I'm talking about here is when he was born.
All right, go ahead, Karl.
I have no recollection of being born.
No recollection of being born. Well, maybe we can go on to something else. Would you like that?
That's fine.
Fine. Let's see here. A couple of felonies, couple arrests. What about Mexico? The Tijuana Hotel Oasis? You were drinking the night you shot a busboy tied to a chair with a chicken on his head. What did you tell us about that, Karl?
Yes, we were drinking tequila.
Mezcal.
Yeah,
Mezcal.
That's right. We were drinking mezcal. The townspeople were having a little fiesta in honor of me.
Well, what about the busboy?
Dinner.
The busboy was dinner, Mr. Anderson? Perhaps you're referring to the chicken on his head.
That's right. We had to kill the chicken to get the dinner.
He was bringing his dinner.
Wait a minute, let me get this straight. You shot the busboy to kill the chicken that you were going to eat for dinner that was on his head in Tijuana.
Haven't you ever heard of William Fell?
Mr. Anderson, I've heard of William Tell, the story of a man who shoots an apple off his son's head. Perhaps that's what you're referring to.
William Tell?
Yes, Tell.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, it was an apple, and he shot it off his son's head.
I don't know. We have no recollection of Mexico, nor of being in Tijuana. Matter of fact, we've never heard of Tijuana.
That's right.
Any other questions, Mitch?
Oh, yes, I have a lot of questions here. Fine, we'll skip it. We'll go to another subject. We were never in Mexico. We were never in chickens. Okay, how about this?
Yeah.
Children. Do you like children, Mr. Anderson?
Children?
Yes, you know, children, the hope for the future, human larva.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Human larva. I love that.
Yeah, I bet you do, Karl. In fact, I have some warm and touching photos the audience out there might want to see of your love for children. In fact,
How nice.
look at this one, Karl. How old do you think she is? 13? Do you remember how old she was, Karl?
Karl has no recollection of any children.
This is
Well, look
my
at the
time.
photos some more, Karl.
Can I... Karl does not recall anything. Maybe I can help you, Mitchell?
Certainly, Mr. Wilson. If you think you'll help Karl's memory, here you go.
Surely.
Now, Shirley...
Shirley?
Carl.
Whoever brought Shirley? I don't know anyone named Shirley.
Relax. Shirley's sorry. It's all right. All right. He'll be all right, and he's good. Go ahead, Mitchell. Go ahead, Mitchell.
Cigarette. Drink.
Well, what about the photos?
What photos?
The photos I just gave you when he started screaming about someone named Shirley.
Shirley? I didn't know anyone named Shirley. Jesus Christ.
Mitchell, can you leave him alone? Don't mention, do not mention. Carl, he's not meaning Shirley. He means Shirley in a sense of an assurance. It's not a name. Relax, it's not her.
I didn't mean to get you upset, Mr.
It's not her.
Why didn't you say so in the
I
first?
understand you're an author. I understand you're trying to express the beauty of the human soul.
That's
For all
right.
us poor people out there who'll never get that chance. I understand that, Carl.
Mr. Hudson, can you watch that?
All right. Can we just go back to the photos?
What photos?
The photos I gave you just before you started screaming about...
What photos?
Just before you started screaming.
Mitchell.
The photos I gave you. We have it on film. I handed you some photos, but what did you do with them?
Maybe we could have a playback on this film, but I don't have any photos on me at this moment.
I never saw any photos.
We'll forget
Can we
about
move
the photos.
on?
We'll forget about the photos, all right?
We're only getting $7,000 for this interview, and I don't think it's worth Mr. Anderson's time. You're insulting him. And can we move on?
I suppose you've had better shows, I suppose, huh?
We've been on Bonnie Hill and all those other types, and we've gotten more respect out of those people. Now, can we move on,
All right,
please?
all right,
Mr. Anderson,
all
an
right,
artist.
all right,
An artist. An artist.
All right, an artist. I understand, he's an artist. Look at him.
Human
How can he
being.
not be an artist?
Human being.
All right.
Can we move on?
So you're not going to talk about the photos at all?
What photos?
The photos I gave you!
Mitchell,
I can't believe this. I'm going. Where's the producer?
gosh, never happened on Bonnie Hill. Maybe the TV audience would like to hear some works from Mr. Anderson's book.
Good idea.
Carl?
Joey, thank you.
Mr. Anderson?
Thank you very much. The Ramblings of an Agonized Aardvark.
Beautiful.
Edit 4. There is no affirmation, no consolation for the sullen ritualistic leader. Alone, he battles the gods, acts as a shaman, sees through the Aardvark's eyes. That's 3 A's, mind you. Aardvark. A-A-R-D-V-A-R-K.
Good point, Mr. Harrison. Very good. Very good, sir.
Thank you. The last we saw of him, the Aardvark was walking desolated desert land, parched with dry mouth, his aching soul worn and tattered because she left him.
Beautiful.
Before contemplating suicide, his equilibrium is reversed, and a bright light enters his being. He knows he can save the universe through the power of the sun. Given to man an enigma fear hath solved. Bury my body, and bring the letters which thou find'st upon me to Edgar, Earl of Gloucester. Oh, untimely death! I know thee well, a serviceable villain. Relapse, distraught, Maine in the spring. An egg search like the great resurrection. Nothing matters in eternity. It began in the womb and was all downhill from there. Not to mention post-nasal drip. Never had the follower known what he was getting into with the overbearing Aardvark. He had had the sense to lead himself. None of this would have ever happened. You know, I like chocolate at sunrise while listening to a squirrel chasing his mistress. If the Aardvark ever knew. Ooh.
Very good, Mr. Anderson. Very good.
Beautiful.
Another class.
There we go, folks. Now that is art. That is
Thank you.
being. That is being.
Only because I have a contract. I can't believe this. We'll just wrap this up.
What's back?
Hey, nice to have you back with us, Mitch.